Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Bree. How's it going? Man, I have not filmed a YouTube video in a long ass time, but here we go. I'm coming back with a story time. So this is the story of my first rave, my first party. I wouldn't say it was like a rave, which is more like a party, but yeah. Okay, so it's kind of long, and I'm gonna try to shorten it as much as I can. So let's just get started. I have my little notes here because just to remember what I'm gonna say. So I went to the party. I went with my friend Ash. Let's call her that. And she had another friend. Let's call him Tony. And he was the one that was like in charge of the party. He like set it up. And he had a friend. Let's call him Mike. And we'll get into him later. But yeah, so Ash, my friend, she wanted to go to this party, and I don't really like parties. I mean, before that, I'd never really been to a party, but I just don't like them because social anxiety, all this shit. Like I can't. Like I'm not good with large crowds. She was the only person going that I knew. Like I didn't know anyone else. So I just didn't really want to go, but she really wanted to go, and the only way she could go was if she went with another female friend. So I was like, okay, fine, let's do this. And I was like, fuck it. So we went, and I met up with Ash, and she was at her other friend's house. The friend that we met up with before the party, it was just kind of like to hang out because Tony was gonna pick us up because I don't know where he was, but he was gonna pick us up, and then he was gonna drive us to the party because it was all the way in the mountains, like literally in the middle of nowhere. So that was some horror movie type of shit, but it was literally in the middle of the nowhere in the high mountains. So before the party, we seshed with Ash's other friend. I don't know what's it called him, but we were just with him for like an hour, and we smoked some, and we had a sesh, and then Tony, the main guy, went to pick us up from this other guy's house. So then after that we went to In and Out, and we met up with two of his other friends who were like bringing up equipment. So we met up with Tony's other two friends, and one of his friends, he's actually we went to high school together. I think he's a senior as well because I'm a senior, but I had seen him at school before, but like I hadn't seen him that often. Like I just seen him like around, right? And then so before the party, I was like, I think I've seen him before, and it was that guy. It was a guy that I went to school with, and I'm pretty sure he's in my grade. And then it's weird because before the party, I had never seen this guy at my school. Like I mean, I would see him like a few times, but like I wouldn't really see him that much. And then after the party, I literally kept seeing this guy everywhere. Like I seen him every day, and I never talked to him, but I seen him, and it was weird. Sorry, I keep looking down. I'm trying to remember this shit because it was like what, 2 years ago. Dude, literally, let me tell you that Tony is like a drug dealer. I don't know what type of crack he's on, but he's literally like always high on something. He's a fucking, I don't know. I don't want to say crackhead, but he's a crackhead. He's literally done like every fucking type of drug. So we went all the way to the high mountains. It was literally, again, like the middle of nowhere, and we got there like before everyone else, right? Because we were setting up for the party. I mean, me and Ash weren't really like doing anything. We were just like seeing all the guys do all the work, right? But Tony gave us his bong, and I was pretty much just holding it for the rest of the night because we were gonna smoke out of it, but then he didn't know where his bowl piece was. We ended up finding it, but then my friend lost it because she was high. But then we found it again, and then we did smoke out of it. But for the most of the night, I was just holding it because there was no bowl piece, right? And we didn't have weed. He also gave me a weed shirt. Like it was like a tie-dye shirt with like the weed leaf on the middle of it. So I had that, but I just recently threw it out because it was like really small. Like it was a size small, and girl, I'm not a size small, so didn't fit. Okay, so fast forward into the night when everyone was coming, and everyone was showing up, and we were okay. So there were some like tents because we were setting up. They set up tents, and one of them was pretty much just to like buy drugs and shit. It was a drug party pretty much. So there were some dealers there. They were pretty much selling like everything. Yeah. So they set up a tent so that they could do their business right there, and I didn't want any because my plan from the start was to not get fucked up. I didn't want to get high. I I just didn't, like, I just don't want to get high, right? Because I'm there to take care of my friends. So even though she said she didn't need me to take care of her, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna take care of you, right? Just in case. Like, dude, there's literally like 30 people. It's mainly all guys. Or I think there was only like, including us, like 4 girls total with like 30 other guys. I'm not gonna get fucked up. I'm not gonna get high and faded in a group that I don't even know, you know, like I don't trust these fools. Like I'm not gonna do that, right? So Ash took some Molly. She had it in her like Coke. Oh, no, it was a beer. It was just like crushed up Molly inside the beer, and then it worked. Like it started hitting like probably like an hour later, and it was just funny to watch because she was like all like loose. She was all happy. She was just like dancing. She wanted to dance everywhere, and I'm just like, I can't really dance. I don't really know how to dance. So I'm like, I feel like really like weird. I just felt awkward the entire night because I'm like, I feel really like uncomfortable. This is not my zone. But while Ash was taking the Molly in the tent, like again, when we were in the tent, this other guy named Mike, he comes in, and he was outside the tent, and he had like this flashlight, and it was like really, really fucking bright. And then we were like, that's a bright ass flashlight. And then he came into the tent. They started talking, like Tony and Mike started talking. They were friends, right? And then Tony left the tent. And so then it was just Mike, Ash, and me. And we started talking. And Mike literally just started talking about the randomest shit. He started talking about flashlights. He started talking like facts about these flashlights, right? He started saying like the battery power, the voltage, how bright it can go, all the different flashlight modes it had. Like he was telling us stories of how, you know, one time he got out of a ticket with a cop because he like started talking to the cop about flashlights, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like me and Ash were just uncomfortable with him from the start, you know, like we didn't like this guy. He was a little weird, and and so we left. And I guess, I mean, I fucking forgot. He invited us to his tent, which I guess because he came with his friends, and they set up like a big ass tent, like probably a few feet away from the one that we were currently in. And so he invited us to his tent, and he's like, yeah, it has a bed, it fits like 7 people. And it was just like weird, but we were like, all right, because he was like, hey, like, you want to come to my tent and we can smoke some weed? And I was like, all right, let's go, right? And we weren't gonna stay with him long because like we felt weird being alone with him, but we just went for the weed. So we were like, all right, we'll search real quick, and then we'll leave. And then after a while, we just made an excuse that we were gonna go back to the party because the tents were like far away from the party. Because like here's the party, and then like here's the tent. So we were just like, all right, we're gonna go back to the party and just dance and whatever. And after that, he, you know, followed us a few minutes later, and he was getting a little grabby with my friend Ash because she was, you know, again, Ash is feeling the Molly by now. She's dancing, she's loose, it's hitting her hard, and she's fucking high. And Mike is trying to dance with her, and he's trying to like, I don't know, like touch her waist. He's trying to like grab her and pull her towards him. And then I'm like, no. So I pull my friend and I pull her towards me because I'm like, I don't want you touching her. Like, I don't care. Like, I do not like this guy. So, and I also didn't like Tony, but whatever. Whatever. We're past that. I never have to see him again. And then after that, I'm like kind of tense, right? So Tony comes up to me and he's like, hey, drink this. And he hands me a beer, and it was already open. And like, rule fucking number 1 of parties, don't drink shit that's already been opened. If you're gonna get something, if you're gonna drink something, make sure it's closed or you get it by yourself. Like, don't have someone hand shit to you, especially if you don't know them. So he hands me this drink, and he's like, here, drink it, like, you know, drink it. And I'm like, no. He was like pressuring me into drinking. So I'm like, oh no, I'm good. And he's like, no, drink it, right? So he was pressuring me, and I'm like, all right, fine, fuck it. I didn't actually drink it, but I pretended to drink it. I was like, oh, okay. And then I would just like, literally when he was like not looking, I would just spill it. I'd be like, right? Because I'm not trying to get high and shit. So I gave it back to him after a while, and I, you know, just pretended like I drank it, right? And then yeah, so everyone was just kind of dancing, and I like, literally my anxiety was fucking high. Like, I felt so like anxious. I'm like, I want to get out of here, but I have to stay the whole night because it was an all-nighter thing, right? Since everyone was gonna be high and shit. So, and it was in the mountains, and I mean, I can't fucking drive, you know. Tony was the one that brought us up there, so he was the one that would have to bring us back into the town. So I was like, fine, like, I'm just gonna stay in. I was like low-key just wanting to stay in the tent. I wanted to like just stay in the tent, right, and just like not come out, just, you know, be in the tent alone, right? So after a while, me, Ash, and Mike and his friends went to his tent and we were just smoking, right? Funny shit that happened before that was that Ash, you know, she was all high, and the ground, you know, it's the mountain, so there's just a lot of gravel and dirt and rock. And one time she fucking fell and scraped her knee at one point, and it was like bleeding, and she still has a scar from it. And I was like, oh shit, are you okay, right? And it was funny because she was like, I don't need you to take care of me. And then literally like right after that she fucking falls, and I'm like, So then literally we went to Mike's car. They literally just poured beer on her fucking knee, so to like disinfect it, and then just like dried up, right? And yeah, and so that was interesting. But after that, me, Mike, and Ashley and Mike's friends went into Mike's tent, and I really liked his friends. His friends were all chill, and then we were just like all smoking, right? And I still had Tony's bong, and we lost the piece, but then we found it again. It was never really lost. My friend Ash had it in her back pocket, and she forgot that she had it in her back pocket, and then she remembered. And so then, you know, Mike's friends had some buds, so we were like, all right, we're gonna, you know, we're gonna do some bong rips. And it was literally my first time doing a bong rip, which was so like, it was interesting because it was my first time smoking out of a bong. So I was like, you know, memories, right? So I took a fat ass bong rip and I still didn't get high, because before that, like, even though I smoked, like, I still had like a tolerance, I guess. Like, I wouldn't get high. Like, I would literally smoke like 3 joints or do like 3 big ass bong rips and I still didn't get high, right? So fast forward, like after chilling and smoking for a bit, you know, I was just planning to stay on the, like inside the tent for like the rest of the night, right? And then I get a call and like the call was from my mom, and at first I ignored it. I was like, I'm gonna just ignore this first slide. And I know she was gonna call me because she was worried. Literally my mom and my grandma were texting me all night. She was like, are you okay? And I'm like, it's okay, like I'm good, right? But I ignored the first call, and then the next call I'm like, okay, fuck, like she's not gonna stop calling me. So I answered her, right? And I guess my grandma had a little accident because it was like 11 p.m, almost midnight. It was like almost midnight, right? And so my grandma, she usually takes my dog out to walk at like late at night. I don't know why, but she like takes her out late at night to pee before she goes to bed. And where we live, it's like an apartment complex, and we live in the upper floor, so there's stairs to get down. And I guess my grandma was like walking down the stairs, and because it's late at night, she didn't have like a light. Honestly, I think this was an excuse for my grandma to like, because my grandma's very dramatic, right? And I think it was an excuse for her to like tell my mom to come pick me up, because she's like, oh my god, call Brittany, I need her here to like pick her up and then bring her here because I need her. And I didn't want to go because I didn't want to leave my friend, but my mom's like, yeah, no, I'm picking you up, right? And I had sent her my location, like, just in case, so she was like, send me your location. And I'm like, okay. So my grandma was fucking fine. Like, she was I mean, her ankle hurt, right? But she was overall fine. Like, she didn't need me to come here, but I guess she just wanted me to be here. And I guess the next day, like, fucking, what's it called, Ash was telling me that like Tony was mad at me and because I didn't take any drugs. Like, oh yeah, like next time don't bring a lame friend. And I'm like, bitch, I don't fucking care if I'm lame. Like, me not wanting to get high with a bunch of strangers isn't lame. It's just for my safety, right? Like, I don't want to take drugs that I've never taken before and get off fucking faded. Like, I don't know you guys, like I'm not gonna do that shit, right? But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Moral of the story is don't get high if you're not comfortable, and don't go to parties if you're not comfortable. Like, going to parties is not my scene, but if you do and you're going with a friend, like take care of each other, right? And even if people keep like peer pressuring you to take drugs, or they're like, oh, you're lame or you're a fucking pussy, like, even if they call you shit like that, like, don't worry about it. Like, that's on them, that's not on you. Like, your safety is your #1 priority, right? So yeah, anyway, I hope you really enjoyed the story. It was an interesting fucking time for me. Like this video, subscribe, and all that shit, and hopefully stay tuned for my next video. Bye.